Queer times.
Hi, Harrison. Welcome to Queer Times. I have a question, and maybe I may have asked you this before, and there might be an answer to it.
Okay.
But number one, we're recording on Saturday. Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
Why do we brush our teeth in the bathroom and not the kitchen?
I don't know. I feel like that is the place for hygiene. I think also what's a good question is have you ever filled a glass of water from the sink in the bathroom and been
Disgusting.
disgusting, right?
Disgusting.
Exactly. It's the same water.
Okay, so welcome to Queer Times, Harrison.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was just a
No,
thing
that's great.
I had to ask.
No, I like that. Yeah, so it is the tail end of Bear Week, which is one of the busiest weeks here in Provincetown. The idea is that it is a body positive gathering of men of all body types.
Yeah, fun times for all.
Yeah, I think people come and they get that experience. There's also 10% that are just 4th of July gays with chest hair that are we're here for Bear Weekend to ignore all of you because you're fat.
Sure. I mean,
Yeah. But
yeah,
it's we can't change the world.
we can.
You're right.
No, I did hear a discourse in town that perhaps the Ozempic is affecting the bear demographic.
Interesting.
But I did see some fluffy bears.
Oh, yeah.
I did see some chonkers.
I do find it to be a little friendlier. A lot of people might say that's because I fit a little more into the aesthetic of beardom.
Yeah, it's your bear privilege.
I did go out, and maybe this podcast isn't the podcast to talk about darkroom etiquette, but I would love to talk about darkroom etiquette.
Why isn't it it's called Queer Times? This sounds like a real queer time.
I guess that's true. Next episode is about darkroom etiquette.
For the record, if you are unfamiliar with what a dark room is, it is a dark room. And I found this out by asking Harrison, what is a dark room? And imagine that you went into a room and it was dark and people did things. To and for or about near you in your vicinity. Maybe you get to do something.
It's gay culture. It's gay heritage. That's whenever I'm at a gym and people are like, no sucking dick in the locker room. I'm like, that is historically for thousands of years where people go to suck dick. Thousands of years.
I'm in the wrong locker room.
But literally for thousands of years. It is a recent development to not have sex in a locker room.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know. Is this just a gay thing?
I think it probably started as they just did a study that said 1 in 5 men have same-sex attraction.
Right.
Which is not the amount of people who are actually gay. They're saying these people are closeted, but they do experience same-sex attraction. And before the puritanical monsters that we're dealing with on so many levels took over, it was oh, you'll have a wife who you love and you have sex with, but also you'll go to the locker room and get your dick sucked.
Yeah, or just a little handy.
Yeah, handy,
whatever you like, no
whatever.
pressure. Maybe you're not into mouths.
So when I'm we have to have a whole episode.
I would love to learn about cruising from you specifically. The most I have is I got hanky code. That's about it.
But
bangers on the road.
They're kind of all one and the same. Hanky code, cruising, locker rooms, things like that. They all are born out of this idea of having to hide as queer people.
Right.
And now there's a less of that.
But in a hot way.
Yeah. There's less of the need to hide, but also if I go to the gym and lift weights for an hour and then do 15 minutes of cardio.
Suck my dick.
Yeah. What's the better way to end that?
A hot tub. But
yeah, true. No, sauna. Well, I was getting your dick sucked.
Oh, right. Sauna while getting your dick sucked.
Okay, what should we talk about this week?
I wish I was gay in 65 so I could hide in a bush to get my dick sucked.
Kind of hot though, right?
A little hot.
Yeah. Let's talk about my favorite topic first.
Okay.
Which is the WNBA.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So we are currently in the midst of All-Star Weekend. Last night was
big drama though.
Ish. You're talking about Caitlin Clark being hurt?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not so much drama, but I also understand. There's a lot of... So Caitlin Clark did have... she was out with a groin injury for a few weeks and then recovered, came back. And then there was a game this past week where it was very clear that she made a move or something and then was holding herself and...
Other groin.
Wincing. Wait, no, it's a different groin?
I believe it's the other groin.
That sucks. But also that is kind of typical to hurt once you're recovering for something, hurt the other side because you're favoring it or things like that.
Right.
And that's a bummer because Caitlin Clark has so many fans and she puts so many eyes on the game. And especially this was the first WNBA 3-point competition she was going to be a part of, which would have been so exciting. And she was the captain of one of the teams because her and Nafisa Collier were the 2 highest fan vote. So she got the distinction.
Is that how it's decided?
So the way the all-star teams are picked is first there is a fan vote,
Mhm.
and then the players vote, and also the media votes. And then they have a way of aggregating those 3 scores. But there also was drama because Caitlin Clark was first in the fan vote for guards. I think she was third in the media vote for guards. And then because of how low she was ranked 9th by her fellow players.
So how did she get to be the team captain?
Because it's the captains are simply the highest fan votes. Caitlin Clark is the team captain. She is sitting out. She was not in the 3-point competition. Sabrina Ionescu won that, which is really exciting. It's the second time she's won that. And then Natasha Cloud won the skills competition. In just a few hours, like Kristen said earlier, we are filming on a Saturday, and in just a few hours, the All-Star game will be played.
And who are you rooting for?
Paige Beckers.
Same. I love that we can agree that Paige Beckers is the right answer.
There are very few people. There are people I like and respect in like the public eye.
Yeah.
And then there's people where I'm shocked by like, wow, I fucking love this person. I'm such a fan. I would faint if I saw them in real life. I haven't been a fan of people like that very much.
Yeah.
It's like Keke Palmer, Lord, and Paige Beckers. I watch Paige Beckers and I'm like, I love that woman.
I think Paige Beckers I think I would also be.
Yeah.
I'm also the same. Do you know who did it for me that I did not see coming and I'm
Who?
embarrassed to this day? Nancy McKeon.
Oh, yeah.
Facts of Life,
Yeah.
Joe from the Facts of Life. I met her and I was a bumbling idiot. And I'm generally, as you can tell, charismatic and charming. And I
get that though. She's butch representation. She's the blueprint.
She's the
maybe
blueprint.
the blueprint, but like
in
the 80s to have
was representation. Exactly.
totally.
Was visibility, was like, oh wait, you can
like, if I was in that house, that would be me.
That would be me in that house.
I know I've talked about it a little before, but there's been like little droppings of like, are Paige and AZ together?
Oh, they are.
Well, last night, one of the interviewers was like, oh, we're going to do the Who's Your Girlfriend challenge. And then basically they ask her a bunch of questions about her girlfriend, like, oh, what team was she on? And then it was like, okay, girlfriend reveal. And you could tell she was like half giddy and half like, oh my God, I'm saying it out loud for the first time ever.
Right.
And I know a lot of people are like, oh, just leave them alone and let them be. And like, yes, I do understand that. But also it's like, I'm sure the joy that comes with not having to hide anymore. And not saying they were explicitly hiding, but the joy of being like, no, this is my girlfriend, this is my boyfriend. There's so much joy in that. And I know there's apprehension and you could kind of see it in her face, but I hope she starts to feel the joy in that because they should be proud. They're 2 amazing people that have found each other.
Yeah, no, I think that they will certainly, it takes a minute for it to settle in to where you're like, oh, I'm actually not
terrified.
Spending energy. No, I don't know if that's true. Might be more terrified. I think it's just I'm not spending as much energy making sure I don't look at you a certain way or touch you a certain way or do this sort of thing in front of somebody who might take it or take a photo or whatever. Which they haven't really been hiding that much, but terrifying because once you say it, it gives the people, when you're that popular, when you're that famous and well known, I could see.
And you also have to remember she's like 21, 22.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, no, they're very young women.
You watch them at the pinnacle of like being they're the best basketball players in the world. How are they 22? So it's hard to forget. I mean, it's easy to forget that they are 22, but they're 22, even though they are the most impressive people on the planet, These are the best 150 players, women basketball players in the world. Like, it's wild.
Yeah.
But with that said, there is some really exciting news. I know we talked about it earlier on, I think on our first or second podcast about the Golden State Valkyries.
Yes.
Which was the new franchise out of the Bay Area. They're actually having an incredible season. They're about 500 in their record, which usually expansion teams in their first season win like a handful of games. They really have been doing really, really well. And with that came the announcement of a bunch of other teams.
But not Boston.
Not Boston yet. We'll see.
All right.
So like I said, Golden State Valkyries joined this year. This coming year, which is launching in 2026, is the Toronto Tempo, which is the first Canadian team in the WNBA. And I think what's really exciting is that it's jointly owned by Larry Tenenbaum, who is a sports conglomerate professional, and Serena Williams.
Yes.
Yeah. And also Lily Singh, who is a like an actress influencer.
Yes. Very
And
familiar.
yeah, and I love that Serena Williams
Talk
is
show
like,
host.
oh, right.
Yeah.
So Serena Williams is involved in the ownership of the Toronto Tempo. They're going to be joining us next year. Also next year is going to be, and just this past week, they announced their team name along with their logos. It's going to be the Portland Fire,
Okay.
which is cool. There was a Portland team, I want to say from like 1999 to 2002, very short-lived, and they were the Fire as well. And I like that they're bringing it back.
Then I do too.
Good. I also think Portland Fire is a cool name.
I will say that I am actually excited that the WNBA expansion and this kind of overall growth of the league
Mhm.
is happening right now and not before or after, because I feel like we are in a moment of acknowledging that women should be in leadership of these sorts of things
Mhm.
and women should be in ownership of these teams. And had it really blown up years ago, it would have been owned by a lot of men. And so I feel like and if it were to blow up in 8 more years, women won't be people by then. So I feel like I'm really
Yeah.
excited that there's this awareness, and the same with Unrivaled, that there's this awareness of, number one, there needs to be uh voices in the rooms of decision making, not
Mhm.
just on the court, that represent those women. And also, yeah, so I'm happy that it's now.
I might be about to burst your bubble though.
Fuck
Yeah.
me.
So there are 3 more teams that have been announced as part of an expansion in 28, 29, and 30. And these are cities in Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia.
Does John Bon Jovi own them all?
Well, the bummer, it's hard to be mad about it, but also I think it's a bummer. Basically, all 3 of these teams will be owned by the same owners who own their comparable NBA team. So in Cleveland, it's owned by Dan Gilbert, who is the owner of the Cavaliers. Detroit is going to be owned by Tom Gores, who's the owner of the Pistons. And then the Philadelphia team will be owned by Josh Harris and David Blitzer, who is the 76ers owners.
Okay.
There are good things that come with that and bad things. The good thing is that they're going to have the resources that these teams have, which means they'll be playing in the same stadiums and arenas that they're playing at.
No. I mean, I hear that.
No, I know. I'm a little bummed.
Because like resort, that's so fresh. I mean,
Yeah.
I was talking. I was so proud for a minute.
Yeah, no, I know. And I'm excited. A lot of these places, Philadelphia, this will be the first time they have a team. Detroit, they were the Detroit Shock, and they had a really impressive team in the late 90s and early 2000s. And the Cleveland used to be the Cleveland Rockers. So they are bringing back the Cleveland team as well as the Detroit team. It's to be seen if they're going to be called the Rockers and the Shock. But Portland did rename their team the same as it was before. I think Cleveland Rockers and the Detroit Shock are both really great team names.
I like them both.
Yeah.
Cleveland Rockers.
Yeah.
All right. That's not my favorite, but I like all the other
No,
ones.
I hear it. It's happening. I did just get reached out to by a woman who works for the Cavaliers.
Oh, you did?
Yes. And she said she loves how much I talk about women's sports. And
Okay.
she's coming to town this weekend, and she's going to bring me some merch.
Wait, so a woman who works for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yes.
And now will probably be working for the Cleveland Rockers.
Mhm.
So you're getting in early.
Yeah.
You're an early adapter.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Can I ride your coattails?
I was kind of like, oh my God.
That's really fun and cute.
Yeah. As much as I'm excited for all these teams and excited for the expansion, I am bummed because there was one team that I really thought was going to happen, and I'm very much bummed that it didn't. And basically, they did make a bid to be one of these expansion teams, and they didn't get it. And a lot of people are saying that it's like, well, it's because they weren't NBA affiliates.
Who's this?
This is a Nashville team, which we had talked about before.
Yeah.
They're still working on it. They might try and relocate a team. So maybe, who knows, maybe the Connecticut Sun, who is likely to be moving soon, might go to Nashville and become this team. But they did a bid this past year. I also think what's really interesting is the Valkyries. You basically have to pay an expansion fee. Basically, you have to pay into the league to become a part of the league.
Sure.
Golden State paid about $50 million to be part of the league. Toronto and Portland about 50 and 75 respectively. And all these 3 new teams, Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia, had to pay $250 million each.
Wait, what?
Right. I think it is partly because the leagues are expanding so quickly. Like 5 years ago, the New York Liberty was playing in Westchester to 1,000 people,
Mhm.
and now they are playing at the Barclays Center and regularly selling out. And I think they're just seeing like to have a team is more expensive now because we are bigger.
To have a team is more expensive now because we are bigger, sure.
Hmm.
But 3 times as expensive
Yeah. No, I hear
in
you.
markets. So that means that Cleveland, Detroit, these economies,
Hmm.
what are those owners gonna have to charge
Mm.
for people to go to these games, and who is gonna be able to go to these games?
But I mean, also, like, yes, I understand, but like WNBA tickets aren't cheap anymore, and it predates all of this. Like,
It's one thing to not be cheap in New York City and another thing to not be cheap in Cleveland, and what
mm,
does that mean? Because the cost of living it's just the wages are so much lower in a
I hear
lot
you.
of those surrounding areas, and, I don't know if you've heard this, Harrison, but women don't get paid as much as men. I don't know
Well,
if you know that.
I mean, I'm hoping that'll all change. Especially, I feel like this should be part of their bargaining agreement. Like, you're now making teams pay 250 million each. Who's getting that money?
Right.
And it should be the players. As we speak, there's a lot of contentious talk about the CBA agreements between the WNBA and the Players Association. They are
Collective bargaining.
Yeah, they've gone back and forth a few times, and I know after the first one, the players said that it was a disrespectful offer,
Yeah.
and that after the second one, I think 30 players showed up for it, which I think is incredible. And they didn't come to an agreement, but it seemed like it was slightly less contentious. So I hope they get to an agreement and don't have to shut down the league at a point. Like if the players decide if like they can't meet an agreement by the end of this season, there's no agreement, they won't come back to work.
Shut it down.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
hope these women get what they want without having to do a shutdown.
250 just seems like an insane growth spurt.
Yeah. But like I said, I was very upset that Nashville's bid wasn't accepted because they were trying to be the team that was going to start playing in 2028. Parts of the ownership are the group that it includes Candace Parker, who is debatably the best women's basketball player of all time, Peyton Manning, Tim McGraw, and Faith Hill, which I think that is such a cool collective of art, sports, and entertainment. And I just thought they would do something really special. And I really love the name. They were planning on calling it the Tennessee Summit, which was to honor the
Right, Pat Summitt.
the longtime Tennessee head women's basketball head coach, Pat Summitt, who is one of the biggest reasons that women's basketball has grown so much in the last 40 years. Hopefully Nashville will be one of them. I would love to see a Boston team. I know our governor
Would you
Maura Healey is
rather
pushing for it.
would you rather the Connecticut Sun go to Boston or Nashville?
Boston.
Oh, okay.
Also because like
Well, because Pat Summitt, I know, that
yeah,
does
oh,
make
totally. I also think basically the star player of Connecticut right now is Marina Mabry, and I don't know if you've ever seen her or watch her play, but like I look at her, I'm like, that's a girl from Southie.
right.
She's kind of like no makeup, messy bun, like looks like she beat up some people in high school while wearing Cookie Monster pajamas. But then you see her at the All-Star game and she like I'm like, oh damn.
You're like on the court lesbian, off the court, you're like, I went to
Yeah.
high school with you.
Which is no,
And
like off the court, like gorgeous, stunning model, which I
no,
feel
no,
like
no, I
is
mean
so Southie girl, you know?
no, no, no. I guess I meant like hot girl from high school. I
Oh
didn't mean that
yeah,
in a
yeah, yeah.
derogatory
No,
way.
yeah,
I
yeah,
meant
yeah.
like, oh wait, you're like you have a husband
Yeah,
and 2 kids.
right. No,
Right,
but
right.
she's so great. She brings so much energy and passion to the game, and I just feel like she would be some. Having lived in Boston for 10 years, I think she would be someone who the Boston community would just love and rally behind. I think that's all I got for women's basketball. I hope Team Nafisa wins the All-Star game tonight. Well, I guess once the episode airs, it'll already be out, but
Are you watching?
maybe it depends. My
Okay.
family's been in town for 2 days,
Oh,
so
that's what
I
I
might
am.
have to go dance in a thong somewhere.
That makes sense. But you
Which
can watch the game and then go dance in a
I
thong
guess that's true, but like
because the
once I'm
game's
on my
gonna be
couch, I'm on
early.
my couch.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'll watch the game for you.
Yeah.
I'll be
Thank
your
you.
lesbian assistant.
Perfect. Thank
I'll
you.
watch the game. Because I don't think I'm gonna. I've been my shows used to be on Saturdays and now they're on Wednesdays, and so
Oh
I've been
yeah.
really leaning into Saturdays not out in those streets of P Town. I was enjoying. And if you are here tonight when this comes out on Wednesday, we have a lovely guest named Allie Clayton,
Oh,
who is
work.
she's brilliant. She's co-host of the All Gay Pod. Did you see there was a viral video of a woman doing like a mockumentary of a hobby horse rider?
Oh, yeah.
That's Allie Clayton.
Work.
Yeah, so
That's
she's really
awesome.
funny. And she's gonna be at Fruit Basket on
Oh, the
Wednesday.
work.
So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, it'll be fun. What is next? So many things happened this week, Harrison.
I just want to recognize someone who passed away this past week because
Yes.
they've been such an incredible energy and light within the queer community and activist community. This past week, Andrea Gibson passed away. They were an influential American poet, spoken word artist, and activist. And I followed this person, but as I've talked to people over the week, I've really seen the incredible impact that they've made on people here in my community and across the world. They lived in Boulder, Colorado, and for the last 2 years were Colorado's poet laureate. They've released, I think, 7 poetry books, 7 spoken word albums, and I think what they really talked about a lot was candidly how they explored their gender norms, their queerness, their identity, their gender identity, and I think a lot of people saw them as a really incredible voice and being open and honest about not only the celebratory parts of those things, but also the scary parts of those things.
They were somebody who was so brave in their gender nonconformity for my entire life,
Mm,
right? Like this is somebody who not only was a poet and a writer, but was a live performer and really brilliant live performer who you could feel all of the humanity in every performance, and they went to like you said, scary places within themselves
mm.
that resonate with everybody.
I mean, I've even mentioned in tiny bits here on the podcast or my morning show about my own relationship with my mental health and medicating, things like that. And to watch, even just mentioning that, like, oh, this is something I struggle with, and these are the ways that I help myself. I always have people reach out to me when I say things like that and go, it's so powerful just to be open and honest about it because so many people are afraid to talk about it. And what that leads to is people being afraid to help themselves. So being on this platform that they've had and speaking honestly and candidly about these things has changed thousands of people's lives.
It goes back to the visibility of it all, right? Like if you see you're not alone, then it destigmatizes the situation and it makes it easier to ask for help, number one, and
Mhm.
receive help.
If you want to learn more about Andrea, there was a documentary that came out this past year called Come See Me in the Good Light. It's about Andrea's final few years alongside their partner, and it premiered at Sundance this past year.
Have been unable to watch that because it's painful.
No, I hear you.
You know, I I will say that I've noticed as of late that my desire to experience that sort of intense human emotion is stunted at the moment.
I've
It's
been there before. I love
yeah.
when people are like, oh, you should watch this. It's so this, that, and the. I'm like, oh, no.
No, 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 not right now.
Yeah.
Not right
But my
now.
Lexapro's working pretty good right now, so maybe I can handle it.
I never really I don't know, I guess I never thought about it as like that being an indicator of like a depression.
Well, I remember there was this show that my
Because
good.
I don't feel like blank. I just
Yeah.
don't want to feel all that.
No, I hear you. But sometimes for me, it's like my depression I'll like feel the emotions too much,
Mhm.
or it will mirror something back to myself that sends me spiraling.
Right,
There
right,
was
right,
this
right.
show that my friend told me to watch, and I was excited to watch, and I watched the first episode, and I was like, oh no, that's a little too
Too close
existential. But
to
yeah,
home
a little too
abort.
existential. I can't put my mind in there. And then after a year on Lexapro, I was like, oh, let's go back and watch it, and I did, and I was like, this is barely anything. It's like
Right, right, right,
it
right.
it really made it more manageable. I
Res-
think when someone like this passes, that is so impressive and put so much of themselves out there into the world and changes people. I feel like they release an energy and a passion that I feel like the best way to honor them is to grab onto some of it and put it back in the world.
Live authentically,
Yeah.
live vulnerably.
Yeah. And that little bit of light that they shared from themselves that helped your light, like try to make other people see your light as well.
Yeah.
Now, should we talk about the scary news?
Let's talk about Colbert.
Yeah.
who was just fired. And not just fired, the ending of the Late Show entirely,
Yeah.
because I do believe that they think that makes it look like they're not firing him.
Right.
Like, I understand that it is in some ways a very antiquated situation given the state of current media and social media and journalism and everything else that goes with it, that these come from a time of, there were 3 stations and 3 shows, and
Yeah.
they come from a time of fireworks. I feel the same way about late night. Like, could we be done with them? Like,
Yeah.
fireworks came from a time from before we had TVs.
Right.
And everybody gathered in the field and we watched things explode in the sky.
Yeah.
But it is interesting timing that Stephen Colbert has always used his voice to speak truth to power and has recently done so in a few different ways regarding the CBS Trump lawsuit and the settling that happened. And then, sure enough, just a few days later, whoopsie, no more job, Stephen Colbert, who is one of the few men in Hollywood who actively not only discusses, but carries himself in a manner that is true to Christianity, by the way. Like, he is an avowed Christian.
Oh, no way. I didn't realize
He's a
that.
religious man, which I think is all the more ironic.
Yeah, when Stephen Colbert announced to his audience that the show was ending, he said, "This is all just going away." I don't want to say it's the height of its popularity, but is definitely one of the most popular late night talk shows.
It is the best one of the top 3. It is number 1.
It's on CBS. CBS corporate owner is Paramount, and they agreed to pay Donald Trump $60 million to settle a $20 billion lawsuit, and they paid that to Donald Trump, who was suing the company, paid them $60 million. And basically, Colbert went on his show and criticized them for that.
Yeah.
For basically just giving this person $16 million off what was viewed by legal and media experts as completely baseless.
Did anyone listen to the rest of the joke? First of all, like, number 1, all of that is terrifying because I do believe that is what happened. But the joke was, he was like, as someone who has always been a proud employee of this network, I am offended. And he got very serious. He was like, I don't know if anything will ever repair my trust in this company, but just taking a stab at it, I'd say 16 million would help. Like, that's a joke. That is a well-written monologue joke. And who do we know can't take a joke? The president of the United States.
Literally. So basically what the lawsuit was...
Or doesn't understand a joke when he...
So basically what the lawsuit was based on was that Trump claimed that in a 60 Minutes interview with Kamala Harris, that they unfairly edited the interview to make her look better. Basically, there's no like legal standing in that. And it almost feels like a level of like bootlicking where they were just like, this is our opportunity to give Trump $16 million as basically a donation, be on his good side, whale strip some of our more progressive left-leaning content. Like, this is scary because it is Paramount, which is one of the biggest entertainment companies in the world, is all but gifting Donald Trump $16 million while removing progressive and left-leaning voices from their platforms.
But do you know that there's a merger happening?
Paramount and who?
Skydance Media.
Which basically would be a monopoly, and they're trying to butter up the president with $16 million.
They need regulatory approval from the Trump administration to do that.
Right.
And so, yes, 16 million is really chump change.
Yeah.
I think that Stephen Colbert is going to be fine.
Yeah.
He's going to creatively reimagine himself in a way that makes sense, and we will continue to hear his voice. I have no doubt about that. I feel bad for the people who work on that show.
Yeah, but I think groveling to a fascist president while silencing people who are critical of him is, like, sure, it might be corporate work, but it's scary.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is the opposite of silencing Stephen Colbert.
No, I agree. He's basically, he's now like free to be like scorched earth.
Stephen Colbert has enough money and cameras are so good that Stephen Colbert, do you need to listen, I don't
to the Provincetown
I don't own the studio, but I feel confident that if I was like, hey, Stephen Colbert, and also let's just be preemptive about this, John Oliver, they're coming for you next. If you need a place to record, I just want to say that the Provincetown Recording Studio would probably have you, probably free of charge.
Yeah.
And you could probably come and look at our cameras are nice and it's real casual, and we'll help do whatever. Because I do think that the best thing that we could do with our most progressive voices is to give them as much independence as humanly possible.
Oh, yeah. And it's also like there's always this idea that like, oh, the right wing is winning because right wing podcasts and streamers are so much bigger than left wing streamers. But it's also like everyone on the actual TV and news are all left wing.
Well, but that's what they're saying is the biggest problem, and that's why they're coming for it, is because if you're not a liberal, you have not had representation in mainstream media, and that is exactly what they're saying. So you did just make their point. Whose side are you on?
Dumb people aren't allowed on TV. I'm sorry.
Dumb people.
You can be on The Bachelor or something. You can't.
Oh, they're definitely on The
You
Bachelor.
can't have a talk show because you're stupid. You can't talk for an hour.
But I think that this is where a freedom of speech issue, because we were never like.
I'm not saying they aren't allowed to. I'm saying no one is going to pay them to be on TV. They're dumb. They'll talk for 15 minutes before there's multiple actual real lawsuits against them because everything they say is lies.
Have you noticed that that's not real, what you just said? Because there have been paid lots of money to be very stupid. So while we want that to be true, we are no longer in a day and age where being a thought leader is in really either way. Like even being a thought leader in a conservative think tank isn't really applauded unless it's glazed in weird Christianity. Like you're not getting conservative think tanks being like, here's the fiscal responsible way. You're getting things that are like, make women keep babies in their bellies even if they're dead. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're not getting the best of any side.
But I guess what I'm saying is like, if you look at some of their biggest streamers, like who's the one with the lip filler and the big eyebrows? Ben Shapiro.
Oh.
Yeah, like you're going to put him on for an hour on a network channel at 11 o'clock? Yeah, right.
What? But are we holding the concept of a network channel to some pedestal that it actually no longer exists on?
I mean, not a pedestal.
Do you have
do you
have cable news? When's the last time you watched a news network?
Only when the WNBA. I only turn on my cable for RuPaul's Drag Race or if the WNBA is blocked on my league pass.
I don't have cable. I haven't for a decade, I think. I feel like they're coming for something after its prime. Like I'm almost like, let them have CBS.
Yeah, like
and
put Colbert on TikTok.
Exactly. That frees up Colbert to do other things.
Yeah, now rather than the 60-year-olds who still have cable watching him at 11 o'clock at night, it's now a bunch of 20-year-olds who are on TikTok.
Because those 60-year-olds clearly, listen, Jon Stewart came back.
I want him to run for president.
I do too. And it does feel like the more it progresses in this way, he might have no choice.
Yeah.
Especially because, you know, I think his original obviously is the terrifying nature of it all, but also, you know, this idea that he's a comedian and not, but he also has a law degree and is more educated than most of the people.
And it's also spent the last, he spent like 2005 to 2015, like fighting for the first responders of 9/11's insurance and veterans' rights. Like he has done so much of the comparable work to politics.
My point being that if Jon Stewart came back specifically to try to push this election through or to help, you know, be a voice of reason that could sometimes be considered a moderate. If all of that,
who thinks people shouldn't go medically bankrupt?
Exactly. If that's happening and we're still losing to rogue comedian podcasters in the narrative and controlling the message, then we need to get out of the dead spaces and let them have the dead spaces. You can have CBS and NBC. Go ahead. Please free up some of our people.
But also it's like in the same vein, it's like no one platforms crazy right-wing people more than left news sources. Like I don't need to see 20 people arguing with Shapiro. I don't need to see that. Stop putting him on TV. Stop putting Candace Owens on TV. Stop putting George Santos on TV. Like most of the time when I see them, it's because they're being interviewed and tried to be made look stupid by left-wing media or left-wing sources.
Yeah.
And it's just like, just leave them off.
To me, it feels like there was journalism and everybody was operating under the guise of what journalism is. And there was an ethics code, et cetera. And then there was the internet and Fox News. And Fox News was like, infotainment, not necessarily actual journalism, quote unquote. And then now the other side is like, oh, we're going to do that too. And now we're going to try to do that. And so now they're all clicked. So now it's all contaminated, right? Like we all got fleas. We're lying
Oh,
with
yeah.
dogs. Everybody's got fleas.
Cable news is no. Don't do that.
No, it at this point it is no.
Yeah.
If I open up my phone, I just feel like the narrative on quote our side is so always victim and negative.
Mm.
And I'm really over it. Like
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
really over like, oh, they're coming. Like, all right, fine. This is what happened to him. And it definitely stinks. It smells weird. Something about all this ain't right because the numbers seem to be that he's number one and he's making a pretty good amount of money in advertising revenue. And so I don't think this is exactly financial for sure. But like, I don't know. I feel like we need to be more like, yeah, now what does Steven get to do?
Yeah.
And we need to not be framing ourselves as always the consummate victim in these scenarios. And like you said, like, oh, the Democrats are just gonna friend raise because oh my God, what are they doing over there? It's all the same.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, this is what we're doing. Do you believe in this?
Thank you all so much for listening.
Yes, thank you for listening and you're sharing and you're rating and reviewing. You're giving a few thoughts on the old podcast app.
Yeah, I think we're still
You're
5
liking the
stars.
reels. We are still 5 stars. Fingers crossed.
I think I pissed some people off last week, so who knows?
I had a really great experience last week going to Lady Slipper, and
Oh,
I was
awesome.
standing out front, and this gentleman said, "You're all over my socials," and I was like, "Wow," because in P-Town, obviously, people are here vacationing, and he was really genuinely like, "Thank you for the things that y'all are saying," and it seemed very heartfelt, and that felt really nice. Do you get that a lot?
Yeah, a lot of the people I talk to are like, you just say it.
That's what we're hoping to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you like it, tell a friend. Share with
Yeah.
a friend. It is really important to get the word out and so we can keep talking to each other.
Yeah.
So we can keep talking to each other.
Yeah. We'll see you next week.
All right. Love you.
Bye.
Queer is in.